Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Open Forum Show. Hope you are doing well. Got the Kings getting ready to take on a team that is in clear tank mode. Did you see the injury report for the Washington Wizards? Oh, my gosh. What a freaking joke. I mean, and I get it. You know, they're 16 and 59. They and the Jazz have the worst records in the NBA. They want the number one pick. They got a better chance of getting the number one pick. All right. They got a better chance of getting the number one pick if they got the worst record or one of the worst records in the league. So, look at it that way. All right. Look at it that way. All right. Kings, Wizards tomorrow. Then the Kings and Charlotte, the second worst team in the East. Both the Wizards and the Charlotte Hornets, 16 wins and 19 wins respectively. The play-in tournament's a joke. Think about this. In the East, I'm not even going to talk about the 7th and 8th place teams. The Miami Heat are 34 and 41. They're in the play-in. The Chicago Bulls are 34 and 42. They are going to be in the play-in. In the West, the Dallas Mavericks are 37 and 39. The Kings are 36 and 39. Teams that are this bad should not have a right for a chance to be in the playoffs. It's a joke. It's a joke. Take the top 8 teams and stop all the nonsense. Take the top 8 teams and stop all the nonsense. It's absurd. It really is. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right, baseball. Were you at West Sacramento last night to see the Cubs put 18 runs on the board against the A's in the inaugural MLB game in West Sacramento? And how about the A's pitching? They give up 4 in the first last night, and tonight they give up 3 in the first. And the game is already 3.5 innings in, and the Cubs put 6 on the board. 6-4. Unbelievable. Cody wants to know if I've seen Steve Sachs doing A's pre and post on NBC Sports California. Have not. And I won't be watching any of the games. I will not. I like Steve Sachs. He's a friend of mine. I like Saxy. Is he any good? I would think he's good. I would think Sachs does a nice job. Did I see Vivek at the A's game? I saw a picture on social media. What a clown. What a joke. I don't know what else to say. What do you think? Am I overreacting on this? Tony, what did you think? You tell me, Tony. You're the one that asked the question, so follow it up. I only saw a picture on social media. Welcome to my world. We've been in the play-in the last 3 or 4 years. I don't know which team you're responding to. But I'm looking at the NBA standings, and I'm like, what on earth? What on earth? Is that what the NBA wants? Bad teams having a chance to be in the playoffs? Is that what you want? I don't want that. It's terrible. The Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, forget about how they're playing now. 34 and 41 and 34 and 42 should not get you into the playoffs. Steve Sachs, Cody says, and Chris Townsend. Good. As I said, I like Steve Sachs. Said they're a good pair. Ask them if they know how to do basketball. Put them on the Kings telecast. That might be an improvement. Best 16 teams should be in the playoffs, either conference. A lot of people agree with that. A lot of people agree with that. I think when you look at the seeding, how would the travel work? How would the travel work if you take the top 16 teams and have them in the playoffs? And so I'm going to give you an example. I'm just going to make this up. Let's say in the West, in the first round, you had the Lakers playing the Warriors, and the Clippers in the first round had to play the Knicks. Let's say in the second round, the Knicks beat the Clippers, and in the next round, they had to play the Lakers or a team far away. They travel. How would you do the travel? Like, wouldn't the travel be unfair in that situation? I don't know how you could do it and make it fair, because some teams would be getting screwed with the travel. Joe says the NBA is unwatchable anyways. Playing games don't help either. Well, here's the problem with the NBA. All their games look the same for the most part. And here's something else for the NBA. Fans are getting turned off with LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith and their spat going on, and the greed and the egomaniacs in the NBA. Fans are getting turned off by that. There is a reason why the NBA ratings continue to go downhill. And Adam Silver refuses, or at least based on his comment at the recent All-Star game in San Francisco, refuses to acknowledge that his game has issues, and he has no backbone to police his own league and step in and say enough is enough. That's how I feel about it. I just I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Tony says Vivek is a clown. You're correct. Grant, the Kings are where they're at because of him. He's not a good owner, that's for sure. Lakers went from play-in to Western Conference Finals, so a deep run is possible. You know, is it possible? Yes, the Miami Heat did the same thing. But look at the records of these teams, right? So you're telling me that either Dallas or Sacramento, I'm going to just rule Phoenix out here. You're going to tell me that Dallas or Sacramento might win 2 games and have a right to play Oklahoma City, who's got a 60-win season? Like, is that the system that you want? I don't. The NBA game is I'm just going to say it, it's broken. The game needs to be overhauled. It's just, the game is not meant to be played the way it's being played right now. 3-point shooting, 3-point. Look at Steph Curry tonight. What did he have? 12 3-pointers? Steph Curry had 12 3-pointers tonight, right? I like watching Steph Curry play, but I don't like watching 7-footers take 3-point shots. That's not the way the game is supposed to be played. Okay? It's not the way the game is supposed to be played. The game is not supposed to be a 3-point shooting contest. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Yes, Grant, it's possible. It's all I'm saying. I understand. Yes, it is possible. But what does that mean? You know what that does? It camouflages a bad season for a team. That's all it does. So if you're Sacramento, let's say you get in as the 10th seed or the 9th seed, doesn't matter, and you happen to win your first game and win the second game and then get swept or lose in 5 games to Oklahoma City, do you look at this season differently because you made the playoffs, or do you look at it objectively and say, you know what, it was a bad season and Now you're going to judge the whole season on 2 games, the play-in games, and say, yeah, well, we shouldn't have beat Oklahoma City. They had 60-plus wins, and we got annihilated, and blah, blah. Like, you can't change an 82-game season in how you evaluate it on 2 games. You just can't. The Kings are what they are, and they've proven that over the full length of the season. They're wildly inconsistent. They're a bad defensive team. They're a bad defensive perimeter team. They're a bad three-point shooting team. I mean, we can go on and on. Their pieces don't fit. They don't look like they have good chemistry. They don't have a true point guard. I mean, that's the way it is. Plain and simple. Should the Kings look to move on from LaVine? Your thoughts on his fit with the team? How are they going to move on with him? They can't. No one's going to want his contract. Paul hits it right on the head. Play-ins, mid-season tournaments, childish gimmicks. 100%. 100%. Maybe Sabonis won't want to leave. That's a good start for the city of Sacramento. I'm not a Kings fan, but damn it, our city needs an all-star. Why would he want to stay? Let me ask you that. Now, he's under contract, so it would be the Kings' choice. But why would he want to stay? Tell me, if you're Sabonis, why would you want to stay? Hey, I want to tell you about New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. They are available around the clock, 24/7. That is the company you want. Trust me, if you need plumbing repairs. They're awesome. They are absolutely awesome. And again, I want to thank those of you that have reached out and have used New Works and have given such positive feedback. Love to hear that. You got all the information on your screen or newworksplumbing.com, NEWWRXplumbing.com. New Works Plumbing, they've got a fix for you. As far as the Kings, though, you can't evaluate this season because they made the play-in. Oh, that it's not good. All right. And the only reason why they're going to be in the play-in is because the other teams around them have had so many horrific and bad injuries, or they're not very good. That's it. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Don't forget about the All-Star Entertainment entity. What do you mean by that? If you don't mind me asking, Charles, expand on that. What do you mean by that? By the way, if you want to call the show, you can. Here is the open forum link. I'll also put the QR code up over my shoulder. So either or, if you want to call the show, you are welcome to do so. Happy to have you on the program. Give me a call, and we'll talk about whatever you want. I'm not going to go very long today. Wanted to get in, wanted to say hello, wanted to know what you were thinking about. Sabonis, well, they do like their proximity to Napa and wine tasting, but you can taste wine in the other 5 months of the year that you're not playing basketball. So it's, I don't really you're not going to stay in an environment that you don't want to be in because you like wine. Okay. Come on. Do the Kings beat Dallas in the play-in with Davis and Gafford? The Kings could win by 40 or they could lose by 40. Who knows? Will says maybe he means the entire All-Star selection process is a joke, which it is. Yes, very true. Absolutely true. Grant, do you remember the days of the real NBA Western Conference when the 8 seed used to have 50 wins? Yeah, those days are long gone. What would I say if the Kings lose both of these upcoming games? I would say I'm shocked. I mean, did you see the Wizards injury report? Let me see if I can bring that up for you. Did you see it? Did you see all the players that are out for the Wizards? I mean, they're in full tank mode. Full tank mode. All right, you ready? Saddiq Bey, Malcolm Brogdon, all right, Keyshawn George, Corey Kispert, Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart, and one other guy that I can't even pronounce. All out. All out. The Kings will be without Devin Carter and Jake LaRavia. But, I mean, if the Kings don't win the game tomorrow by 30 points, there ought to be an investigation. Seriously. There ought to be an investigation. Do I think the Giants will make noise in this coming NFL season? They'll be in last place in the division. They'll be behind. I think Washington will win the division. Philly will be there, and then they'll battle it out for Dallas. But I don't think they're going to be very good. I don't really put a lot of stock into this because things change, but currently they have the toughest schedule in the National Football League. They're going to have a difficult time, in my opinion, winning 7 games. Wizards are playing guys from the couch. Pretty much, James. They pretty much are. I'm a Mavs fan, and it's looking as it could be the Mavs versus the Kings. How's your confidence meter? I don't have confidence in anything that the Kings or the Mavericks do. Both teams have had very disappointing seasons. The Mavs, to me, have made one of the worst trades in the history of the NBA. May go down as the worst trade in the history of the NBA. They've had nothing but injury after injury after injury after injury. So who knows? I feel bad for Marcus Smart. He deserves much better than the Wizards. Boston used to love him. I don't know what he deserves. I don't know if he does. I don't know about that. What do I think about the A's being in Sacramento? Hey, I think for a short-term stay, it's good for the city. I've talked about that. Why not? Why not? Play in Sacramento until you get your ballpark figured out and go from there. So I don't see any negatives to it. I don't see any negatives to it at all. 0. Somebody says that I am wrong about a great trade for the Lakers. Well, it was a great trade. It was also the worst trade in NBA history for the Mavericks. All right, let's get to PK. What's up, PK? How are you?
Hey, Grant. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hey, Grant, I want to ask you, what's your handicap?
The last time I was playing on a regular basis, it was a 10.7.
On how far? How far was the course?
How long was the course?
Yeah.
I play a lot of different courses, but I haven't played in a while because my back's been bothering me.
I got you.
I don't just play one course. I used to play multiple golf courses, but honestly, I've only played like twice in the last 12 months.
Let me ask you, let me say something, it's like I have like a different take right now about Kings. I think it's like something that you and Ryan, when you started this channel, all these people, you started at the beginning, you said it's always about the fans. And man, without this community and these fans, I don't even know how you could just like justify this season, to be quite honest, you know? But it's like it's just so amazing that community is always like sticking together. We're growing together. People are laughing. There's, BJ calls from the hospital when he's always working over there in ER. But maybe do you think we have too high of expectations after that long playoff drought, and then that we had that one really good run, that one season where everybody in the West was hurt, and then we just thought that we're probably better than we thought. Well, I don't know. Like, do you think our expectations as Kings fans are a little too high?
No, I think fans in all cities' expectations are too high. The same thing happens in Dallas every year. It does with the Cowboys.
But Grant, we didn't have a playoff. We didn't even have a playoff game for 17 years. Like our expectations were kind of like basic level expectations as fans.
Yes, but I believe, in my experience of being in different cities and traveling as much as I do, and being able to prepare for games and read past articles and newspapers that are given to us and things of that nature, it just seems to me that fans in general always have false expectations at the beginning of a season, and then after a month or two, you're kind of back in the reality. Kings fans, here's the biggest issue, PK, I see with Kings fans, and tell me whether you agree or not. They overvalue their players. They get a player in a trade, and they think all of a sudden that that player is better. Like, for instance, when the Kings got Doug McDermott, everyone got excited. I'm like, hey, so what are you excited for? When they got Markelle Fultz, you should see all the messages on the chat line. I'm like, Markelle Fultz can't play. Don't get excited about Markelle Fultz. We can go on and on. Even Jake LaRavia, who looks like he's going to be a decent role player, but Kings fans have made him into somebody that he's not. They've already overvalued what he means to this team. And that's one of the things that the Kings fans, in my opinion, have always done, PK. They get a player and they overvalue them.
Yeah. And it's we're almost like like a guy or a girl that hasn't had a girlfriend in a long time, and it's like we're just looking for freaking love. Like,
Yep.
as Kings fans, we're just looking to fall in love with something or someone, and then never works out. But Grant, you guys are doing an awesome job, and I just want to say thank you, and just wanted to give a quick shout out, just a quick call.
PK, thanks, man. Enjoy having you on the show.
Yeah.
You take care, and we'll talk to you soon, buddy. Take care. All right, bye-bye. Good call there from PK. I've always thought that Kings fans basically overvalue their players. They think their players are better than they actually are. Hey, Sunrise Landing in Calusa. If you are looking to move to a different area, you should check out CalusaSunrise.com and get all the information you need on Sunrise Landing from Blazona Development. So many models to choose from with different lot sizes. You're going to love the location because it's Calusa is great and it's easy to get to. I-5, Highway 45, Highway 20. As PK was just asking about golf, you got the Calusa Golf and Country Club adjacent to Sunrise Landing. Again, go to CalusaSunrise.com and get all the information you need at beautiful Sunrise Landing. Appreciate the phone call as always as we roll right along here. The Kings will be taking on the Wizards tomorrow, who have basically no one playing. Vivek gave us a taste of success and then decided that it justifies raising ticket prices. Supply and demand, right? Eduardo, hola from Chile. How are you, Eduardo? Do Kings fans overvalue players because we are a small market, or why? Because they're desperate for a good team and it makes their mind better when they can, in their own mind, justify or not justify, just in their own mind, justify that the Kings made a good trade or picked up a good player. That's how I look at it. Don wants to know, Grant, if the Kings front office does decide to go in the direction of a full rebuild, who would be a great coach to bring in and to help develop a new team with? Because Doug isn't the answer. It's a fabulous question. If you're going to do a rebuild, that's a really good question. Because there's two ways of looking at this. If you don't do a rebuild, as opposed to a rebuild, you're probably not going to get. Well, I don't think you're not going to get a top line coach in here anyway because of the situation. But that's a very good question, the way you phrased it. Very good question. PK says, if we say the Kings rebuild, how does that even work? That's even a great question. I don't know how that would work because you're stuck with Zach LaVine. I don't know how you can trade DeMar DeRozan. It's a very good question. What do you do if Sabonis wants out? Boy, oh boy. I'm glad I don't have to put it on paper and then decide what I want to do and who I want to keep and how I'm going to do it all. The Kings right now, to me, and PK, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. You were, I think, on a different view than me. I don't think the future looks bright for the Kings right now. I don't like, based on what I know right now, in terms of looking at contracts and free agents and the draft, I don't like where the Kings are for the immediate future. I'm not a fan of it. I don't think so. We justify all the dysfunction because we're in a dysfunctional situation. We're all twisted fanatics stuck with a jock sniffer as an owner. That is a problem. That is a problem. Do I have any Reggie Evans stories? No. Just played hard all the time. How many seasons does it take an NBA franchise to create a championship contender? Thumper, it depends on whether you get that stud in the draft. If you get LeBron James in the draft, it's going to, or Tim Duncan in the draft, if you get a franchise-changing player in the draft, it can be done in a few seasons, but you have to have that guy. You have to. Do I remember the Caspi Curry shootout? I do. It's one of my favorite games to call. Grant Sachs does a nice job with his analysis. No surprise there. Sachs is a very bright guy. Love Saxy. Great guy. I have so many great Steve Sachs stories. I love Saxy. How do we beat Cleveland without 3 key players and lose to trash teams? Well, Cleveland had played the night before, and they were without their all-star point guard, too. So keep that in mind. And they didn't have a good West Coast trip. They lost most of the games they had. They lost most of their games on the West Coast trip. They did not play well. So we'll see. Let's see what happens in the next game. They play Cleveland coming up after the Charlotte game. So we'll see. Because we might get a look at might get a look at the real Cleveland Cavaliers in that game. We'll see. I don't know which Sacramento Kings team is going to show up from time to time, but I do know which real estate agent is going to show up when you use Connor from Element Mortgage. All right. I'm convinced of that. Guy with tremendous experience and a team behind him with over 100 years of experience. And if you're a real estate agent, listen up. If you need a lender who will work as hard for your clients as you do, Connor's the man. Call him at 916-505-1006. All right, now you got the QR code right there to get all the information that you would need. Again, 916-505-1006. Get a hold of Connor. He will get the deals done, keep you informed at every step in the loan process, and make the process easy for you. Again, reach out to him today. See the difference a great lender will make. Let me put that number up there for you, 916-505-1006, or the QR code. That's Connor with Element Mortgage. Give him a call now. Trust me, you can trust him. And I don't know about you, but when it comes to buying a home, dealing with real estate, trust is so important. You can trust Connor. Also a huge Kings fan. You can talk some Kings basketball with him. Don't forget tomorrow, pregame, halftime, postgame, as the Kings, again, if they don't beat the Washington Wizards by 30 or more, there ought to be an investigation. Seriously. Dennis says, Grant, the Kings fans want the pick. Do the Kings blow it, or are we too worried Coach Doug can even beat Washington? Well, just because you're not in the play-in doesn't mean you're going to keep your pick. If you're in the top 12, you lose it. All right? So you got to remember that too. You got to look at and what's the chances of getting a pick at 13 or 14 that's going to really help you out? Seriously, like what are the chances that you're going to get and this is not really supposed to be that deep of a draft. What are the chances that you're going to get a player let's say at 13 or 14, if you're not in the play-in, or well, in play-in or no play-in, what's the chances of you going to get a good player there? Probably not very good. Probably not very good. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about the torpedo bat. Here's the deal. The bat's legal. If they don't want the bat to be legal, get rid of it. It's a legal bat. This is going to be either an exciting offseason or a disappointing offseason. You won't know that, though, until the season starts. If it's 13 or 14, it goes to the Hawks. Top 12 goes to the Hawks. I'm looking at keeping the pick, not keeping the pick. You're probably not going to get a good player. You could, but it's unlikely. You're probably not getting a Tyrese Halliburton again. And, speaking of draft picks, is Devin Carter damaged goods? Seriously. I don't know. Thoughts on Mike Bibby becoming Sac State coach with Shaq's son? I just know this about Mike. I'm a big Mike Bibby fan. I'm going to be rooting for Mike. I hope he does well. I'm a real big fan of Mike. I hope that it works out for him. I'm rooting for Mike. I think when you look at Mike and everything he's gone through and coaching in high school, and I think he's ready for this step. I think it absolutely is a big step for him, and I think it's a step he's ready for. And I really hope that it works out for him. I really hope it works out for him. I'm rooting for him. I trained Brian Grant, Michael Animal Smith, go on and on. Just freaking play hard. Drop the ticket prices. Get some more blue-collar families in. I don't think they're going to be dropping the ticket prices. I just don't. Devin Carter needs a full preseason and training camp. After next year, we grade the rookie. Also needs to stay healthy. Any thoughts on the PGA? We're getting close to Masters time. Yes. I think Rory McIlroy is playing so well right now that he's running out of time to win another major. He is, and I'll tell you another guy that I'm keeping an eye on is Ludwig Oberg, who played so well in his first Masters a year ago, who hits the ball like clockwork. I think that Ludwig is going to be right there. I'll give you my pick before it starts. PK says we fired Coach of the Year. Yep. I can't wait for the Masters. I love it. I'll be watching all of it. But, Scotty Scheffler has been close the last couple of weeks, but has not been able to win. You've gotten a lot of first-time winners on the tour this year. But Augusta's a different beast. It's a different, Scotty has not been putting well. That's been his issue the last few weeks. But McIlroy, he's been, he's won a couple times this year, won the Players, won at Pebble Beach, played very well again this past weekend. I worry about Rory's short putts coming down the stretch. We'll see. All right, so again, this is interesting. A's draw just over 12K on opening night, still better than 3 other clubs with bigger stadiums. What does this say about baseball? I'll tell you exactly what it says. It says that the game is broken. That's what it says. That's exactly what it says. I don't watch baseball anymore. I really don't. Is Alex Ovechkin on the Mount Rushmore of hockey? Yeah, I think he is. Gordie Howe, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. You know, Gretzky and Gordie Howe are 1,000% on the Mount Rushmore of hockey. You know, if you're gonna, are you talking about four? Or are you gonna, we're gonna make it a little bit larger than that? If it's top four, no. No, if it's four, he's not top four. I can't put him top four. I mean, you got to go back to players like Bobby Orr. You know, there's no argument that Gordie Howe and Wayne Gretzky are on there. And I think Mario Lemieux would be on there. I mean, you could make an argument for OV. He's had an amazing career. I was at the Masters about 6 years ago on a Thursday, and it was one of the greatest experiences that I've ever had. I flew all night from Phoenix. We had played the Suns on Wednesday night, and we're playing Memphis Friday. And I was blessed to get a ticket. And I took the red eye to Atlanta and then flew to Augusta and spent the whole day there. And then afterwards flew that night to Memphis. What an experience. It was great. Not a cloud on the sky. It was shouldn't say it was chilly, but when I first got there, it was about 66, warmed up to about 70. It was awesome. Just loved it. Loved it. All right. We're going to wrap it up for today. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow, Kings and Wizards, join us for all the content right here on If You Don't Like That. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy your evening.